Hi, I'm Patrick Dietrich, host of the OFFGRID Podcast. I am here at Blade Show, Texas. There are so many talented knife makers here. Let's go check out a few of them that I think are really cool on this special edition of the OFFGRID Podcast, Blade Show, Texas. I'm here at the LT Wright booth with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. LT Wright.
Always good to see you.
How's Blade Show going for you so far?
It's really been a great show. Yesterday was fantastic. When they opened the doors at 10, we got a crowd back here that probably was here until, let's say, about 2. There was always somebody to talk to. At one point, I spent a lot of time just meeting some new people and talking to some people. I turned around and one of the tables was almost cleared off. Like we had a lot of sales going on. So we were very, very pleased. And this is our second year here in Texas. And last year was just as great. And if today is like yesterday, it's just going to be a bunch of fun. I love getting to meet the people that we interact with as you know, you interact with a bunch of people on the internet or in emails, and to put a face with a name I love that.
100%.
Love that.
Out of all the knives that you brought with you today, what's the main attraction this year for LT Wright?
For us, I love the standard. I'm a simple guy, so having our Genesis Scandi, that is, to me, that's our flagship. And actually, we sell more of that knife than anything.
Nice.
So I love that knife. The GNS has always been a strong seller. I would say we have a few new things coming out. The Regulator I like as a camp knife,
Okay.
which I modeled off of my Blade Sports competition knife when I was doing Blade Sports. I like the shape of it. I like the weight of it. So I kind of put that and my carpenter background together, and I have a hammer handle style on that knife. So I really like the way that feels for a camp knife, for a camp chopper. And then I guess another thing that we're doing a little bit different than last year is we're starting to make our own scales in shop. And we call it homebrew. So we have this acrylic idea, and we're doing that, and we're putting some different things together that are quite interesting and they look great on a knife, but still make the knife very usable and functional.
Sounds super cool.
Yeah.
For somebody who hasn't been to a Blade Show and they're thinking about coming, do you have any advice for somebody who might be interested in coming along and checking that out?
Absolutely. My very first Blade Show, I can remember this, and that's going back maybe 20 years. I got the program, saw who was there. First, I wanted to see the guys that I knew. Not knew in the sense I read about them in a book or saw them doing something. So I highlighted them, and we would go to their tables because I didn't know how long I was going to be at place. So definitely map out your day and go, I want to go see LT and SE and Tops and whoever it is you want to see. Make sure you hit them, and then check out the new guys. There's some new guys in here that are blowing my mind. I look at stuff and say, gosh, I would have never thought of that. Or you kind of go, wow, how's he getting such a clean line on something? I love to be challenged, and I love seeing what the new guys are doing. It just excites me.
So, I got to ask, LT Wright.
Yep.
What does the LT stand for?
Well, that's part of the proprietary secret stuff. No. I am named after my grandfather and my father, who I love dearly, both of them, and it is Leonard Thomas.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then years ago, we just, I worked with R.W. Wilson, who taught me how to make knives, and I thought, wow, I just keep LT Wright, kind of going with the R.W. Wilson thing as my stamp. And I thought, that's how I'll do it. So that's how it all came to life.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for talking with me.
Man.
Have a great
Pleasure
show.
seeing you, brother. Always good to see you. Thanks.
I'm here with Knives by Nuge over at his booth. Nuge.
Always a pleasure to see you, man.
The Nuge.
Dapper as always.
Do you go by, well, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you go by Tom? Do you go by Nuge?
Tom or Nuge works. Nuge is fine. I've been called worse, so Nuge,
Okay.
you can go with Nuge.
Okay, right on. How's the show treating you so far?
It's a blast. It's always fun coming here, being able to see everybody at the show. And it's just it's great because people finally get to see the knives. We're all stuck on the internet. So it's nice for people to get to handle them, see them in person, really get to see which one they want the best.
As far as your lineup goes, what are you most excited about this year?
Well, I'm very much excited about getting some stuff into production. We have a couple new models that are going to be coming out. The Wicked and the Wicked XL always have been like the standard go-to. We're getting those guys American-made production this year, and we got new models for the year. We've got the Bruin, which has been out right now doing handmade versions of it. This came about from me using the Wicked XL hunting and just wanting a longer, skinnier, more slender field knife. Pretty much like the chickpea model, but like on steroids. So very happy with this one. Full grip, very comfortable knife. Just enough blade to do what it needs to do, if that makes any sense.
Excellent, yeah.
So very excited about that. We're gonna have those in Scandi grinds and in saber. Playing with some CPM stuff. I'm not a big steel snob. I like the stuff I like, but I've been really impressed like 3V and 154. So
sure.
Hopefully those will be coming out Blade Show Atlanta. So
Awesome.
We'll see. Now you know how these things go. Lots of headaches and lots of just figuring things out on the fly as always.
Pretty much. Have there been any accidental cutting incidents this year? Have you had to bandage any boo-boos?
This year, sorry to flip all you off, but right there on my middle finger, I got pretty good. And the worst part was I make all these fancy knives and everything, and it was with a $5 box cutter is what I did. And I joke around, I'm like, I need to make money, so I always treat these knives with like, white glove service. But with the box cutter, you're just throwing that thing around. But luckily, I have full function. I can't feel around here, but I can feel on the tip, which is what matters. And it could have been a lot worse.
Do you need any stitches?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of stitches.
Down to the bone?
Yeah, we just missed the bone. We just missed a tendon. We grazed over it. So that's why it's important to know first aid and know how to treat those things. Because I had no idea I cut an artery until we got there and we undid the bandage. Because
Really? You cut an artery?
I did cut an artery, but
Wow.
Very good at bandaging things up. I mean, before I did this whole knife maker thing, I was an EMT since I was 16 and a
nice.
cop for 8 years. So I've been around the bush enough times to know when something needs special attention. And that was one where like, yep, we are going to seek higher medical authority. Hopefully no more, knock on wood or whatever is close enough resembling to it.
Right on. Okay, that's a great question then, leading into, if people are coming to Blade Show or maybe they're thinking about investing in like a really high quality knife, what are some important considerations to think about?
I think it's really important to know the people behind the business and the why, which is why Blade Show is so important. And it's really great to be able to like talk to everybody, because when people get to talk to me, it's like all these knives came from my own needs. That's where they came from. Like even I was using the Wicked XL for hunting, and that's why I came out with the Bruin, because I just had a need that needed to be met. I'm not just coming up with things on a computer program and just figuring out because I need to fit a hole in the market. I'm fitting a need that I need to meet. And I know that there's other guys like me. I mean, we walk around the Blade Show, half the guys are wearing a trucker hat and have a beard. So we all kind of are pretty similar people. So I know if I need something, there's probably other people out there in the market need it as well.
Nice. Are there any like key features people should pay attention to, or does it really matter?
For me, it depends on what you're doing with it. Like one of my most important things is, does it feel good in the hand? Because when you're using a knife and you're using a tool, you almost don't want to think about it. Because if you're thinking about it, it's normally like because it's causing problems. You ever have a bad pair of boots and you're hiking through the woods?
Yes.
And you think about the boots the entire
It's a
time.
miserable time.
But when you're hiking with good boots, you never think about it. Because you just want the tool to do its job. So I always try to make sure the handle ergonomics are very comfortable and easy to use. The blade just does the work. And it's like with good edge geometry, depending on what you want, whether it's Scandi or saber, really depends on like the tools, the tasks you're gonna be doing. Like if you're doing lots of wood carving, wood prep, I'd go with Scandi grind, and that's my go-to because we live up in New Jersey, and it's the cold part of New Jersey. It's not the part that's next to New York City. So we're up in the mountains. I'm keeping 2 wood burning stoves going all winter long. So Scandi grind's my friend during that.
Nice.
But hunting and fishing and camping, I prefer a saber because I want something that's gonna be able to clean the fish, open up a deer no problem, and be able to do the rest of the tasks.
Right on. Well, thank you for having me over by the booth. Have
Thank
a good
you.
Blade Show.
Appreciate you, Patrick.
Sounds good. I'm here with Benjamin.
Yes, sir.
Jack Wolf Knives. How's your Blade Show going so far?
Blade Show Texas 2025 is awesome. Folks in Texas come out. They're super nice. They're happy to be here. We've sold a lot of knives, made some good connections. Can't complain.
That's always great. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your brand. It really has a unique aesthetic to it. What's your inspiration behind that?
Well, our focus is on delivering a complete artistic experience to our customers.
Okay.
The knives themselves are functional art. We can all appreciate that, but above and beyond that, we're delivering custom graphics, we're delivering beautiful handle materials. So we really want art appreciation experience. Our focus is on traditional knives, which are old-fashioned knives, but with a modern interpretation.
Okay.
So we take the classic pocket knife and we maintain its shape, but update its materials and its means of construction. We started with slip joint knives, which is an older mechanism, does not have a lock, but has a back spring, probably like the knife your grandfather carried.
Sure.
So we reimagined the old-fashioned knife for the modern consumer. From there, we've branched out into knives that lock, so frame locks, bolster locks, and we've branched out further into fixed blades. But you'll find a consistent design language across all our products that harken to old-fashioned blade shapes and handle shapes with modern materials and modern construction, all with an artistic presentation.
And like, what's your inspiration for the art? Because even the cases that you make have like artistic things going on, and they're like intertwined with the knives. Like, where do you draw that from?
Yeah, so 80s and 90s culture primarily. I was born in 1980, so those are my years of influence.
So that's like some Saturday morning cartoon vibes.
Saturday morning cartoons, action movies
Heck
from
yeah.
the 80s and 90s. We have fun with it. One thing we want to do is make sure everyone's having a good time. So our artwork is inspired primarily by 80s and 90s culture. We give all our knives fun names. Those names are either going to reference the historical knife pattern or some way to tell the story about this knife. And then the artwork is driven by the name of the knife. And every time we reproduce a model, the artwork changes on the outside. Every time we reproduce a model, the handle materials change. So everything's a unique production batch from us.
There's so many choices here at Blade Show. What advice do you have for somebody who's maybe coming to the show for the first time or looking to purchase a knife for either themselves or someone else and might be feeling overwhelmed?
That's a great question. I would say a couple things. What is your use for the knife? Are you going to carry it in your pocket? Are you going to clip it to your pocket? Ask yourself that question, because the size of it is going to be important. In addition, is it going to fold, or is it going to be a fixed blade that doesn't fold? If it's a fixed blade that doesn't fold, it needs to go in some kind of sheath. So do you want a leather sheath or a plastic sheath? Just some things to think about. Most people come to the show for folding knives, I think. If you're buying a folding knife, they have different mechanisms to open and close. Do you want a push button auto that's like a switchblade? They're handy, but sometimes maybe not socially appropriate in every situation. Something to consider.
Some places won't even allow you to have something like that.
Exactly. And sometimes it's just going to give people the wrong impression of what your intention is. You might just be wanting to cut a string off your pants and they think you've got some other motive.
Yeah.
But I would say just trust your heart. If something looks really cool, you'll probably like it. The reason is this is functional art. So you're drawn to it emotionally. It also has a logical purpose, but don't ignore your emotional attachment to the item, because your heart is telling you like something, so give it a try. That would be my best advice.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm here with Rick of Ocaso Knives. Rick, how you doing?
Hey, Patrick, how are you? I'm doing well.
Doing
Thanks.
great. How's the show going for you?
The show's going great.
One of the cool things I love about your brand, it has like this sleek, like urban wear appeal.
I appreciate that. Well, Ocaso is all about coming out with pocket knives with premium materials, sleek, slim, elegant, lightweight, and I came out with this idea and this branding because it's solving the problem that I had in the past. I worked for a previous knife company, and I wore suits a lot. It's a great company, great brand, and a lot of times they were big and heavy. They weighed down the suit pocket, the shirt pocket, the slacks. And so starting this company, I said, I want to do something that's going to really fit to my lifestyle, you know. That's why there's lightweight, they're sleek, they're slim. I'm a pen collector, and so we have this deep carry pocket clip on our knives. So when it's in the pocket, it looks like a clip. That's basically what it is. It's the gentleman style knife, the going out knife, steak knife that you can take out. It's actually the knife you can take out at work if someone or individual is wearing a suit or a coat, and it's not very intimidating. And that's what Ocaso is all about, whether it's a pocket knife or an accessory, from a desk knife to a front pocket slim minimalist style wallet. And that's where we are.
Excellent. I think it looks very classy. Which products are you most excited about? Are you unveiling anything new here today?
So I'm excited about this project I have with Big Idea Designs.
Okay.
So Big Idea Design, there's actually 2 projects going on. One's a pen project, but the other one is a knife project. And it's the designer is Matt Kelsey from Big Idea Design. Do you want me to grab it and show you real quick, or?
Yeah, let's take a look.
So here it is. This is a prototype, and it's getting a lot of good response. So it's a prototype sitting there, and people are seeing it, and they're really enjoying it. So the OEM is Riot. It's got some nice, beautiful milling there. It's M390. It's all titanium scales and hardware, from the pivot to the thumb stud to the clip to the backspacer, and it just looks really nice and cool, sleek and slim, and I love it. This is the one that I'm excited about.
Oh, it's very light. It weighs almost nothing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And have it in the pocket and just forget about it.
Right.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for somebody who might be coming to Blade Show, or they're thinking about getting a knife for themselves or others and might just be overwhelmed with all the options out there?
Yeah. Well, I guess my advice is, this is what I would do. Walk around and take a look and see if there's actually something that grabs your attention, you know, and then why does it grab your attention? Is it because of the blade style? Is it because of the weight? So that would be my first approach. And then what are they looking for exactly? Is this going to be an outdoor knife? Is this going to be a hunting knife? Is it a tactical knife that they need? Or is it a going out knife? Well, so definitely there's great brands out here, and they're all doing a great job. And I think there's going to be something for everyone at this particular show.
That is for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
Sure thing.
Yep. Have a good show.
Thank you, Patrick.
I'm here with Scott of Miller Brothers Blades. They've got some truly epic knife work and blade work going on. Scott, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
How's the show going?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. We like getting out and actually seeing customers get the product and actually, you know, be able to handle it and stuff. A lot of times with our products, being able to touch it and, you know, a picture, you just kind of, you can't feel the heft of it. You can't feel how it feels in your hand. And that's kind of important, I think, in the knife world, is actually seeing if something fits your hand and is something that you, when you grab it and you have a connection to it, I think there's something special about that. So.
I think it's especially true for the knife designs and the blades that you guys make.
Yeah.
Tell me about Miller Brothers Blades. What's your inspiration for this? Because this looks like just some epic stuff.
Yeah, well, we started probably about 15 years ago, 14, 15 years, full time. Before that, you know, we kind of tinkered around with it, even as kids, making stuff. And just me and my 2 other brothers, and inspiration, it's just kind of, we wanted to just make stuff that looked cool to us, that you could still use, but when you see it, you're like, yeah, that's neat, you know. And sometimes we had other makers' knives and that, and a lot of times you'd say, oh, I'd change this or I'd change this, and we're like, let's just make some stuff and make it how we would like it. And we started listing some stuff on some forums years ago, and other people were like, hey, I'll take one of those. And we were just making stuff that looked cool to us, you know. And maybe it wasn't how other people were doing it or how traditionally it was made, or who knows. We just were making stuff to look cool to us, and when you had it and you're using it and you're like, yeah, this is what I wanted, this is what I was imagining. And that's what we even do that now. We're like, hey, make something that's cool. And even if other people are doing whatever trends there are, we really don't get into that too much. We're just like, hey, make it look cool to us, and I'm sure there's a customer out there somewhere that'll buy it. So that's kind of what we do.
Do you all have like your fingers in the design, or does one brother design the blade, one brother
Yeah.
design the sheath? How does it work?
Kind of goes back and forth. I mean, we all have input on it, so somebody might come up with something, another person will be maybe say, hey, I think we should do this, and we all kind of have input on it. But when something first starts out, a lot of times the basic shape one person will kind of design, and then we all just kind of put our input in on it. And depends from blade to blade, but most of the time it's just kind of a collective input and get a finished product. So
Is there anything you're particularly excited about that you brought to blade this time?
this year we're started making got one right here, our M19, which is a bigger kind of kukri style thing. I don't know if you can see it there. It's this one's got a back sharpened portion. Sometimes we'll back sharpen it right out the tip. Sometimes we'll put some fullers in it. This kind of bigger stuff is what we kind of like to do a little bit more. We make smaller knives and those are fine, but this kind of stuff is not huge swords, but kind of, I would say for us, we would call this like a mid-size, an R mid-size. I mean, we do make longer swords, but this kind of stuff, you know, even a short sword, 17, 18 inches, that's kind of where we kind of like that stuff. I don't know, it just kind of resonates with us, and we're like, yeah, that's cool. That's, if I had to put something on my backpack and go out and disappear into the wilderness, I would take something like that, you know, and that's, it kind of end up with something that we would call mid-size. But so something like this, yeah, we're kind of, you know, I like getting back to making stuff like this, and we're hoping to have some of our short swords out, you know, maybe for blade coming up. So
How long does it take to make something like this? So beginning to end, a blade like this Kukri here.
it kind of depends, because we'll like start, for us, you know, maybe we'll grab 6-10 of them at a time, you know, maybe make some different handle colors and start making them up. So it's kind of hard to say, especially when you do the sheath with it and you're working on finishing the sheath, or, you know, doing the leather and, you know, edging the leather and everything. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because we throw in other knives in there. And sometimes you'll be, you know, putting a grind on one and it'll really give you a fit, and it'll take you a day to do the thing. And then the next day you're like, hey, I got 10 of them done. So it's it takes how long it takes, I guess, is what we kind of say, is like, I don't know, at the end of the year, and if you're in the plus, we're like, yeah, it's a good year, you know? So, but yeah, it's just however long that piece takes a lot of times, because we'll do like these, we're doing, you know, the hand texture, we'll do that by hand. Sometimes we'll spend a lot of time on them. Other ones are a little bit more plain, but whatever we feel that knife needs, I guess. So
Fair enough.
So for us, it's kind of like, it's not like it's, we used to make a lot of customs. We don't do too much of that anymore, but we like to kind of make each one a little bit different and unique, you know? So
Nice.
so the customer each one's a little bit, you know, you got your hands on it, and I kind of like that a little bit, so.
Heck yeah. For someone who's coming to Blade Show and they might be overwhelmed by the abundance of choice, do you have any advice?
Me, when I come to shows and stuff, like I was telling you earlier, I just look for stuff that looks cool to me. And you're like, you know, it's different for everybody, I guess, but sometimes it's like an internal thing, and you're like, some people really like, you know, whatever it is, out the fronts, whatever, and that just resonates with them. I go through a show and says, hey, who brought something cool, you know, and I look around for that. So yeah, just take your time and try and find what's cool to you, you know, and that could be different. I mean, if you got a end use in mind, if you're going to be an outdoors person, if you're going to collect it and like the shiny, you know, glittery stuff, that's fine too. But just find your little area, and there's probably something here for you. So
I would agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with
yeah,
me.
thanks for stopping by.
Have a good show. Well, that was just a few people. I hope you enjoyed hearing their stories, checking out their products. If you have any interest in knives, blades, or anything like that at all, definitely go visit a Blade Show. There's Blade Show West in Utah, Blade Show Texas, and Blade Show Atlanta, of course. And hope to see you there.